a world that walks the line. There's a rare few who think outside the box together for the crew. To break the equations, not bound to any rule. Exposing to the world the universe's own view. It takes the talent of the craftsman, it takes the mind of the fool, to make the vision realize energy and matter in a duel. To a break, to a duel. The old man Bills was running through his head. Cheryl probably got it hiding under his bed. Penny up to Annie making power for days. Don't listen to a word that the straight dope says. Mike building batteries that power a ship. Victor comes and talking math, that's the water spiral dip. Sean chucking plasma volts a mile long. Sheila on the video making tone trumpet prongs. Burning breaking matter, they said it couldn't be done. And to all the people in the chat, I know you're having fun. So it's time to spend your Saturday with the dope and old man Bills.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Builds. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Nathan, everybody. Friday.
What's going on, guys? We got an exciting show today. We got a bunch of Sean's experiments going on, man. And we're going to take a look at them. Some of them, dude, are just out of this world cool. And just kind of do some evaluation, man. Have some fun and, you know what I mean? Talk about them.
Right on. It's what we do best.
So let's start off with a good one, Joe. So what I want everybody to notice in there, that there's 4 RAVs being built and the water is spinning. Let's see if we can catch it. Oh, that moment right there before it. Right there, look at that. So C3, hold on. That's cool in itself. You see them exploding on the sides. And then you see the one obviously right in front of you. The one on the backside pops in and out quite a bit.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's wild because usually you see that arc, it's purple. It's all yellow.
Yeah, the frequency is changing.
Yeah. Dude, that's so cool. So I'll have to show in a minute some other stuff that goes on with this.
All right, so something that I've observed before, but I want to point out while it's going on. If you notice where the RAVs are forming, okay, even when the light isn't present, it is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the convection currents and so on that are actually forming the RAV in that circumstance remain even when the light isn't present. And that means that all the energy that is present in the RAV itself is actually present while it's not discharging the light as well, because it's still holding the structure. And the reason there would be because it's structuring the water and it's holding in capacitance, right?
Mm-hmm. So check out the water. Do you notice something in there?
I mean, there's what appears to be a bubble, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that water is not 212.
Yeah, it's part of what the bubble's going to do later on when we get this thing going. That's actually going to trap plasma in it.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, that's exactly how we're going to get it to go in there.
Yep, the energy densities at that moment when it formed just simply weren't high enough to have the high compression state of the plasma. But all the fact that there's a bubble that's going to be present, that's the critical factor, because it needs to be able to push out that water in order to create the vacuum for it to create, for it to sustain.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Okay, so we'll pull up the image on this if it lets me. Where did it go here? So take a look at that. So this is with it in there. And what I want you to take a look at is at the bottom, you see the RAV forming at the bottom. But then to the left of it, the upper left-hand corner, you see that stream shoot out.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see in there is the yellow RAV, you see blue, and you see what looks like red, all in that little stream that goes along, right? And you can see it's making a particular shape as it goes down. So it comes up and it rounds and then comes back down and then goes to the other side. But then I want you to take a look opposite the RAV that's bursting. Opposite of that, you see a dead zone or a dark zone right there in the structure itself. We're literally making the yin and yang.
Yin yang. That's
right
it.
there. It has to do with every time that you build the RAV out, there's a dark spot. It usually shows up as light or something that goes on in an experiment. But we've seen it several times build out in this stuff. What I really like about this is that stream that shows a different color.
That's it. And yeah, you could see the energy moving through that. And that's no matter what that is comprised of, it's a barrier. And it's in my opinion, it's probably a torsion zone. You know, that's the separating. So it's working in the same way that the sheath layers are working inside of the RAV, but it's doing so, you know, externally of it and structured in a different way. If you look at the shape of it, okay, and this goes again in line with everything that we've been saying all along with it, it's parabolic. So you can see that it comes from one side, and it pulls in as it's swooping down, and then it pushes out as it's swooping that way, and then pulls back the other way. So it's more than just a two-dimensional shape. There's a whole entire parabolic motion, you know, that's creating convex and convex and concativity. I don't know if that's a word, but it sounds right. Concativity.
Here you go, guys. Here's another picture of it, just to show you right there where the two spots are. You see the RAV build out. You see the line in between, and then you see the dark spot where it builds out the other side of it.
And it does go the opposite way in the other direction.
Yeah.
Didn't draw that part of it out, but that's there as well. If you look to the left of the top circle, like just underneath where that ball of light at the top is, you'll start to see a line coming out of it there. And if you notice, it's going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So it's got spin in both ways in the way that you would expect.
Yeah, well, it's curving that water. Yeah, like you're saying. So you can see the energy exchange between the two.
Absolutely.
That's what that dark spot is an energy exchange, and it's just not taking in the light; it's taking it in the opposite. So it's exchanging energy where it needs to, and you can see. It's kind of hard to see them now, but right there where that arrow is pointing, you still see in the stream the different colors, and they're exchanging back and forth.
So it's important to understand something too about this is that where the RAV is at the bottom, and then when that dark spot is opposite it, is a nodal and an antinodal point. And what you'll notice in the live video is that this isn't just simply a screenshot that we captured. Oh, look at what this appears to be or something. What you'll notice is that the entire environment is in a constant state of fast motion, right? But that dark spot is always void, or not always, but more times than not, there's nothing going on in that spot. It's like preserved in that way, and the RAV is preserved in its way, opposite sides. So while this whole entire thing is doing its thing and exchanging, those two particular spots stay set because those are the nodal and antinodal points of this entire beat frequency. It's the cymatic reaction of it.
Yeah. If you ever hear me say that energy finds it, right, where you can't necessarily see it all the time, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It knows it's there.
Mhm.
It's reacting to it being there. And we don't notice it right away when we look at something like this, but it knows, and
Mhm.
it reacts in the right way.
Yep.
I,
There's also a vortex in the middle, which is interesting, but I digress.
Here, we'll play it one more time and then we'll move on to the next one. That's just cool.
Yep. This isn't
So,
from the same video as the screenshot, by the way. I don't think, right?
no, I don't think it's the same video either.
I just wanted to clarify that in case anybody was like, I don't see it.
I think that's interesting. He lifts it and gets it
Yeah.
to do that right there. There's all four. You see the
Mhm.
one in the back, you
Yep.
see the one left and right, and the one right in front.
Yeah, you have a little refractive index situation going on, making it hard on the one in the back, but it's there.
So, just so we understand this, later on, we're going to show you another picture of this. It's actually acting like a prism. So it's not hitting equilibrium yet. And he's got half water, half gas in there. You could say air, but I'm going to tell you it's gas. So it's not hitting an equilibrium point yet. Once he does, he'll hit saturation on this and turn into a prism. So, all right, let me pull another one. Take that one down. Just take a look at this one. So he's full of water right now. So let me just tell you something about high voltage. And I showed the experiment on one of my videos a while back. When you get to water, high voltage likes to dance on top of water. It doesn't like to penetrate the water. So what you're getting right here with a full bubble right here, full of water, it can't penetrate in there. That's why the half gas, half water has to be there in order to get the thing to work right. This right here is just going around to the bottom. That's all it's doing. It's finding a way, it's finding channels of water, drips, whatever, or the electricity just jumps. But that's all it's doing here. And here's why that's important. If you take the half water and the half gas and you put a magnet underneath it, a round magnet, now you can get the thing to rotate properly. And then you may be able to build a RAV right on the surface of the water itself. See, that's the thing. The water's acting as the entire cathode in the situation. In this situation, it's bypassing it. So although it looks cool as heck, I think if you wanted to RAV on water and see how the effect works, you put the magnet in. But then think about what I said in the last video about ball lightning. If you're getting that same effect as the water, but you're getting it up in the sky in the cloud layer, then think of that and how you can build that into a RAV or a ball lightning in that situation between anode and cathode. It makes perfect sense in physics why it does it, because it would do it right here if we set it up right.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And this again boils back down to those offset differentials that I always bring up. In most other RAV reactions, there's a direct relationship between the mass and the cathode. So there's a diffuse cathode effect. In this
Mhm.
particular case, you have a large amount of potential that would have to go into cathodic saturation prior to the exchange being made. However, it's probably never going to happen in that case because of the concentration of the energy density level of the anode, meaning that it's much more likely to become anonically biased, which then shifts the paradigm relationship of the anode and the cathode effectively turning the anode to the cathode eventually, if it could reach a state of saturation. But as long as the anode is able to reach the cathode in this particular case, okay, then you end up with a situation where it's going to take the path of least resistance, and the charge densities are probably not going to get high enough in the water itself for the effect to occur.
Mm-hmm. Now, we had talked about the bubble earlier in the previous video. This is why that's important, okay? When you want to create something that's by itself, like a RAV, in between an anode and cathode, but in water, it must structure the bubble first. It cannot build outside the bubble, like in the water. It has to structure the bubble, and then once it structures the bubble, then it can build inside the bubble. See, that's what makes it important about doing this kind of stuff. It must have a magnetic field reaction in order to pull it into existence. So, just so you guys understand that, that's why we talk about it now. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Sean pull that off soon. Bernie, what's up?
Oh,
And
coming
there it
live
goes.
to us from Nevermind.
Oh, so right here, dispatcher's asking.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, give me a second.
Just loving and
Dispatcher's.
listening to what you guys are going over with the RAV. It's that yin yang is something else too. Hey, like just the perfect formation of it, and how with the water, right? That it doesn't boil the water normally, except for when it becomes the glass tube or container becomes the cathode, right? And then arcs to it, and then all of a sudden you get the boiling water, and that's a very crucial part in evolving the reactor and the reaction. And like you're saying, then within that bubble, we're going to get the plasma. And it'll be a matter of increasing the rotation within the water as well as triggering the sonoluminescence within that bubble.
Okay,
Now-
real quick. Dispatcher's asking what the RAV means. It's resonant arc vortex. Okay. The reason, by the way, that you're getting the reaction the way you do inside there is because of the environmental condition. You changed it by putting the bubble, right? You changed it by half water, half gas. You changed it. So it's the same energy coming out. The energy didn't change. You changed the configuration. That's the difference in all of these tests.
Yep.
All you're doing is compressing it. Once you compress it, it reacts completely different than it should, right? So if you didn't have any of that stuff there, it'd be a different reaction. Once you do add that condition, you change the reaction. So when we talk about the earth and stuff like that, why does it have gravity? Because we changed the condition. That's why it's not a linear effect. It's now a 360-degree sphere effect. It's a much different reaction.
Big time. Now, interestingly, I'd make a hypothesis here, knowing what we now know about water, is that if you were to actually put a conductor at the bottom of the water inside the filled sphere, and you were to run the anodic energy to it, and it were able to have an exchange without an arc, okay, initially. So there is energy coming off of it. The reason there has to be a conductor down there is because the anode has to have something to go to. An anode up in the air doesn't necessarily just arc unless it's the voltage is just simply that high, which in this case it sort of is, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. The idea here is that you would want the transient anodic energy to exchange with something conductive in the absence of a cathode altogether. That would actually allow for something interesting to happen, which I hinted at before. If you were able to saturate the anodic energy into the water, right? Well, the difference in the mass that occurs and the difference in the potentials that occurs, okay, would actually, I believe, make the water then act cathodically, which would then actually allow it to form a RAV under those conditions. But if it has something that it's actually able to arc over to externally, that's attached to a larger environment or a cathode itself, then it's just going to bypass it altogether. You know, so it's, I think that an anode only RAV being possible under those particular sets of
Well,
conditions.
the cathode becomes the water.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's not anode
Exactly.
only. There's a condition for it. There's a yeah.
Right,
It also,
that's the condition that we said
a
before.
crucial part though is when it's boiling, it's at that breaking energy state between different phases, right? It's phase shifting from liquid into gas, and that in the pressurized bubble and within the RAV is a huge aspect to pay attention to.
Now, I propose in this that the boiling itself may well actually not be boiling. It may be an electrolysis reaction. No, Bernie?
A bit of both is what I suspect.
I mean, to be honest with you, the arc activity in that configuration does not
Well,
look so
the
intense
arc
to induce
potentially
that.
is heating it as well, but then the fact that it is a cathode would trigger the electrolysis and the hydrogen production. So it looks like it's doing both.
Yeah, I mean, it could well be. I just, my curiosity is that water 212? Because, I mean, it could be, but I propose that it's probably not.
Is my connection a little bit better? I'm up on the roof now trying to get signal here.
Very good.
Hear me.
Because there's an absence of steam, you know? Like,
Oh
there's
yeah. So Sean says there's a hole at the top. So if you look to the right, you see the RAV forming in the tube, which is awesome, by the way. I don't think anybody noticed that. To the right of that, there's a little hole on the top of the bubble.
Uh-huh.
So if there was a bunch of steam coming out, you'd see it there, and we'd start
That's
seeing
what I'm saying.
swirling in the air. There's none.
Yeah, there's no steam in this, and
Yeah.
so this is
Right,
an
but-
electrolysis reaction
see
under
it.
212, and the whole reason is because the anode turned the water into the
Well,
cathode.
Nathan saw though, even when you do have that electrolysis reaction, there is a mist and a steam that still comes out from it as well that's visible, right? And we're seeing none. So it seems like it's with the RAV itself containing whatever it's producing within it.
Now I'll say this real quick. I just want you to look at the bubble. And this could be a camera effect right here, but I'm going to point it out anyway. Look at the yellow inside the bubble. There's several of them.
Yes, so that's a crucial point as well, is that what we suspect and want to prove and test is that the yellow is usually a hydrogen reaction, and then when it gets to white is potentially a hydrogen to helium transmutation, and that's where we're going to have to start capturing some of these gases and offputs and getting them tested to see what's happening and what's being produced.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean that's interesting. I mean those orange dots, they don't appear to be any sort of a artifact, right? They appear to be there.
Yeah, like I said, it could be a camera effect, but I wouldn't rule it out, and it'd be worth further investigation.
I mean, refraction in a sphere is a weird thing. Whenever you're dealing with how light likes to bounce around that. So, I mean,
Yeah, either way, though, it's the color, though, and that the color is consistent whichever way it's refracting and reflecting, and that it does get those occasional flashes to the white in between, so that we're seeing that it's not a lensing effect of separation of color, that's the actual plasma light color going through the reaction of it.
I agree. And well, we did see that same type of effect, although different colors, riding the line in the last image that we showed prior to this, right? So we had that line that was forming the yin yang that was connected to the RAV at the top. And you could see the energy transfer occurring in that line. And having that energy bouncing around in there.
So let's see if we can't catch it again. Yeah, see? You see it right there under the water? You see it wants to form again? Or it did form, I should say,
It did for
temporarily.
I was gonna say it's there.
And shout out Sean Calderon for doing these amazing experiments for us. And it's like when he sent me this one, he's like, here's another RAV fail. And I'm like, how is this a fail? Like, we learned 3 different new things you just demonstrated, Sean. He's like, hey, thanks for being so positive. I'm like, man, this is awesome work. Like, we're learning from every single one. There's literally no way to fail here.
No.
Well, listen, do not ignore in this, okay? The meniscus of the water. Okay, because if what
yeah, very crucial part, Joe. Absolutely, because then as it gets denser, more jelly-like, and different isotopes form within it in different charged states within that water. And I don't really feel comfortable going in more detail than
what
that.
you'll see in with your own 2 eyes here, though, is that it is riding up, okay, a wave on the right side. So no matter how you set level of this thing, no matter what the camera angle is, it's actually pulling the water up on a bias to that side. And that's indicative of, again, the repeating the structuring effect. Now, if you recall, and I've said it many, many times, what separates the rotational vectoring, okay, of the magnetic component, okay, from the vortex and then the toroidal sphere, okay, is the parabolic motion. Okay, that is the dimensional axis wrapping up and around. Okay, from a 2-dimensional spin, okay, all the way to starting to build in its dimensional proportion. And that's what you'll see is that there's a bias pulling and wrapping that right around that right.
And in that yin yang / Vesica Pisces formation from the 2D into the 3D vector, right, of motion.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe so.
I'm saying I'll try it with deuterium, man. That was a conversation I've had a long time ago already.
Oh yeah, well we're
that conversation Vincent had, brother.
Sorry, I'm breaking up and I can barely hear due to the semi trucks coming out of Las Vegas on the highway to Sin City here. I'm gonna try to get down and see if I can find somewhere else that has some service. I'll be back in a little bit, my friends.
Okay. Very good, buddy.
So yeah, we've only had water, just tap water, in these experiments. Is what Sean's using. I don't even know what would happen when you start adding the good stuff into the water. You know what I mean? That would be a whole different reaction. I'm kind of glad that the water is working out the way it is, so that we can see the reaction and see which element we want to put with it. You know what I mean? And to see where the safety zones are, because you put the wrong one in there and pressurize it the wrong way, and we got the wrong reaction going on. And that's not something we want right away.
Yeah, I mean, the most likely effect is you probably wouldn't at these energy levels get the wrong kind of effect. If anything, you might get deuterium to tritium transmutation, which is what it is.
Well, if we close the hole on the top and put the anode through there and just melt it through, right? Well, then there's a pressure that's going to go on inside there. You know what I mean? As the gas forms in there, as you break down any kind of liquid into the gaseous elements, you're going to get a ton of pressure. And then when you do, I think that's the condition in order to fill that bubble with the RAV. I think that's when we get it. Because you think about it, it's the energy transfer between it, and then it hits that. I think it's game over. It's going to form in there.
I don't disagree.
I think putting a magnet around it, though, would it make it so much faster, because we already know that with plasma you can take magnets and put them around it and compress it. So it also helps in the formation of the plasma inside of it. It adds to it. So as long as you do that, man, we may be able to get this thing really cranking here. It's just awesome how it lights up like that. Sorry, I'm just a fan of lighting effects as well and how things get colored out. Yeah,
Now,
you
I mean,
guys.
it is important to see as well. Okay, you could tell the difference. All right, when the plasma is inside of, a material as opposed to outside of a material. It may become very superficial in difference from time to time,
Hmm.
but when you saw the other reaction before, if you were to do away with the tendrils, you still see the of the veil, I'll call it. You see a plasma veil over the surface, right? The plasma kind of covers it like a blanket, right? Um, and then when it's inside, what you end up seeing, okay, is motion within the structure and not outside of the structure. That's going to be important as we release our next episode of Plasma Unleashed.
Hmm.
The reason I'm saying that because what you're going to actually see and give you a little sneak preview, right, without showing it to you because I want you to see it on the video, is that when putting uh, the anode to a piece of quartz, not the video that we've shared already, okay, it will actually ride out the surface. But now, as that charge density gathers inside that piece of quartz, what you'll start to see is the internal structures then lighting up. And it's not lit up because of the veil or sheathing on the outside, but rather the fact that there's plasma penetration on the inside. And you could see the difference right here when you look at this. You could tell that that plasma is inside the sphere, that it's not just entrenching it outward, nor is it filling the entire sphere up. It's acting as potential until it's at the higher density levels needed to form, stabilize, and compress.
Yeah, you know what? I'm wondering if it's pulling in the cathode right here. I I gotta see if I can't trigger it again in the timing of this to see if it's jumping up. You know what I mean? Is it coming down or is it jumping up?
Yep, that tends to be the question. I mean, I would tend to say here that that might be jumping up because the potential is saturated with the ionotic energy in the sphere and the water. So it's going to be pulling at the cathode.
I only say that because when you do cold energy, it works in reverse.
Mhm.
So usually this thing would be sparking down. You know what I mean? And instead, it's pulling up. It's pulling the cathode into the situation. It's just interesting to know.
Mhm. Well, I mean, what does this also tell you about what they want to call quantum tunneling? What does that tell you about it? It's an insulator. The insulator hasn't reached its critical point where it becomes non-insulative. So how is the cathodic energy then transferring inside the sphere? Well, it's doing so quantumly because it's literally being pulled through the lattice structure of the material at that fundamental electron level to actually work with with the attraction of the anode.
Yeah. I, you know, I have a distinct feeling when we slow this down, we're going to see it be electrolysis that's the action here, or they should say the reaction here. And I say that because I see this right here. There's no bubbles. It's only certain times that you're going to get a bubble reaction out of this thing, and then other times not. So generally, when things are hot, they continue to bubble. They don't go to zero bubbles. They go down in bubbles. You know what I mean? They don't go to zero. You don't go from boiling, which it looks like here, to nothing in just seconds of a frame.
Right. That's
Right?
because it's like I've said, it's not boiling.
Well,
it's
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
When we slow this down, I'm sure that's what we're going to come away with, that it really wasn't boiling water. I think that's important when we look at this kind of stuff to slow it down and look for that.
I mean, listen, you had a lot of bubbling there. You see that there's I don't want to call it steam, but you could see that there's ionized gas in there coming up. But what does water do when it's in this type of arrangement with this type of geometry? Well, it condenses. Where's the condensation? There's no condensation. Why? Because it's not steam. The steam would be rising because steam pressurizes. And under that, the amount of bubbling that's occurring, like you would expect to see that it escape, but it doesn't. But instead, it's becoming charged. And once it becomes charged, it becomes into a diffuse plasma state until it condenses. And that's sort of the idea.
Let's take a look at one more.
But you can see it pluming right there, right? Okay. Yeah, let's watch that.
Sorry, this is the wrong one. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm just saying you could see the steam pluming in the last image that you showed. So it's not steam though. I'm pretty convinced that that's from electrolysis. It's hydrogen. Unlikely.
It might be this one that I didn't show yet. That's just cool. I don't care who you are. That's just cool.
Look, right. I mean, that's a nice little death toy you got there.
So I have this ball in my garage. It's about this big, and it's all glass. I want to do this to that in the background of like every video. Just have that thing light up, man. It would be completely awesome.
Is it better now that my phone is plugged in, or is it my connection?
You're good right now.
Yeah, you were good before too, to be honest.
Oh, okay. It's choppy for me. Okay, that's good. It's good if it's good. All right.
Yeah, that right there is just awesome.
It's just so beautiful. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah, I mean, just looking through a water-filled glass sphere in the first place is interesting in itself. You throw some lightning bolts on top of it, and it never hurt.
Right? And look at the change there. It goes pink. And white. You get the white flashes and the pink.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, look at that. It's just
Let me look at
bypass.
that real quick. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and so I mean that's pretty much all on the outside that situation, which is it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Because that's a lot of plasma, and that plasma that you just froze frame on, that's dense, man. That's dense plasma for purple plasma.
Right? And then when it gets inside, it'll turn into the worm. And I think, I don't know if you played those videos yet, but it's really fascinating how it forms. It's very similar, indeed, actually, to how the anode reacts in my electrolysis reactions and self-organizes and structures down.
Right on.
yeah. Look at those little bright lights in there now. That's so cool. You see all the little dots just like shining. Oh, look at that.
That's cool. That I can't tell what to do with
Right?
that.
Like, look at that one. That's wow.
Yeah.
That's a wow photo.
I mean, it looks great. There's no lie, but I mean, for total honesty here, I mean, this is what you would expect from this. Like, if you were to ask any old person that knows a thing or two about plasma physics, and you told them this was it, this is what they would tell you would happen. You know, but it looks great.
Oh yeah, and it looks very similar in many ways, not just to lightning, but to the aurora borealis, right? When
Oh,
it
yeah.
flashes off, like those sort of streams.
Absolutely does. Well, those are magnetic moments kicking off in it. Is
Well
you know
said.
when it goes from an arcing, because remember the arcing is it's a current vectoring, right? But the condensation comes from a magnetic vectoring. So it has these moments of actually starting to spin, you know, where the field geometry, not the plasma necessarily, but the field geometry starts to, um, you know, spin on it, and then the plasma reacts to it. And probably because it's not structured and strong enough in that case, it doesn't sustain. So, you know, it does what the plasmoid did: form for a second, fill up, and then, you know, when you showed that plasmoid last week with the big open frothy bottom.
Mm. Yeah, Sean in the comments says these are failures. There's no chance of that. These are successes.
Oh, this isn't a failure by any means. It's like I said, it's impressive. It's
Right? I was like, it's never a failure. These are just, oh God, everyone's magnificent. But fail to trigger RAV is what he means by that. The fail to trigger the RAV reaction. But there's still so much more to be learned from each experiment. And I see each one as a beautiful success.
I think that if again, if you want RAV to form, just change the relationship with what the anode is going to, and or make the cathode more accessible, because there has to be something to saturate that internal water, that is less resistant than just simply connecting with the cathode directly. You know, as long as you could do away with that direct connection with the cathode, that's the whole basis of the RAV in the first place, right? It's a regulated feed between the two. So in that case, you know, you have air, which means that, you know, you have different mediums and, you know, different resistances, right? And less mass.
Yeah, sorry, I
So
put this picture back up for you guys. See,
Yeah,
you can
this
see
one's
it.
just so amazing because it literally has the dark black counter space, counter light yang to the white yin on it, right? And it's like that. And from the right perception, you can see that it's a also Vexa Pisces, just showing one half of it, and it's the flow dynamics of counter vortex, right? It's
you see the
beautiful.
other side of it is there too, right? It's coming out of, it's totally inverse on the other side. If you look at that ball at the
Exactly.
left of the orange, right? The light of the orange, you see the line coming out of it. Well, it comes straight down out of it and starts to curve right. If you
Yeah,
follow it, it starts
good
to
eye.
curve, you know, left. So it's just doing the opposite in the opposite direction at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at this. Ooh. Yeah, remember we were talking about saturation?
Right, but look at the clouds, right? The formation outside of it coming off and the vortex shapes that they're in is also very important in how they form into layers of charge separations as you go through the next several images.
Yeah, and as you go through these next several images, mind you the spot where you saw that dead zone, and then keep an eye on it, because what you're going to see is that the energy keeps out of that spot. Look at this picture. See the same spot?
Yeah, exactly. It's always dark in every single one. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. There's dark spots on this, so it looks kind of like the sun, right? You get flares, you get the dark
Yes.
spots.
It's what happens when you have a RAV that encapsulates the whole entire damn thing.
This is awesome.
And then there's the RAV moon wormhole, but that's a story for another day.
Ooh, look at this. Dude, that looks like a plasma discharge right there.
Right?
That looks like a
Exactly.
coronal
And a
yeah, like
solar
a coronal,
flare too. And a
exactly, coronal
solar
discharge.
flare.
Absolutely. You
That
can
is the
see the
snap.
convection in it. It's all
And look at the discharge coming out 45 degrees from it as a triangle.
all right. And for those that watch us all the time, you would know that the only thing that would separate what we're looking at that top left from a solar flare, okay, is shear. That's the only difference, right? So if it continued to rotate, it would pinch and shear, and then it would be
Yes.
free and on its way.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say this, man. I just love the way this thing works. So you can see every aspect of everything that goes on in this thing. We're not enclosing it where you can't see it. We're not pulling it apart with a vacuum where it doesn't have the correct reaction. It's in the open air. You can see everything about it. It makes it completely
Absolutely.
special.
100%, Nathan, and it's such a crucial part, and it's such a crucial part to my own electrolysis formations where I'm making these different metamaterials, and they're all like, "Oh, how? It's impossible! It's got to be in the vacuum in these pressurized conditions, and this and that." It's like, no, it self-structures and organizes, and it's from the shell of the plasma sheath where it interacts with the boundary layer that you're getting that structure and that solidification of the electrochemical reactions.
Damn right. Yeah, I'm on board. I agree. That's exactly how it goes. And all this stuff, okay, now keep in mind this. So let's just change context for a second. They talk about the formation of different matter, different minerals, and so on, right? And when they talk about mineral deposits, and they're like, this crystal, it took a million years to form. Did it? Well,
Right?
they
No,
form the same
no.
crystals in a more perfect
In
structure
moments
in
or
a
in days or
laboratory, right?
weeks.
In a laboratory in a fraction of the amount of time, but by orders of magnitude. You know, they could form a full blown quartz crystal that they would say that took 5 million years for the nature
Or
to
just
create.
add a little electricity into that chemical reaction so it's electrochemical, and oh wow, look at that. The time just disappears that's needed.
Right, right. Imagine that, and imagine that they're trying to say that they could do it in less time in a comparatively weak and small laboratory apparatus, compared to the natural energy and pressures of the frigging Earth. Okay,
Right? Or
like
just
I'm
salt
sorry.
water battery, right? Salt water electrolysis of some sort, potential.
Yeah. Well, mind you, all these things they all take it like in ores. All these like elements take millions of years to deposit in these ores. But they take moments to melt, to crush and melt out of the ores through an arc furnace, and then structure, and then they take moments or hours or days to break down electrolytically. So you mean to tell me you could melt it out of into a pure element in moments, and you could break it down into the environment again in days or weeks, let's say passively through a more diffuse state. But the formation of it with a whole bunch of other crap that's not even, that's a contaminant as far as we're concerned with it, that structure takes millions of years.
It's
Like,
just called a phase shift, right? It's just going from a liquid and gas into a solid. So you have sublimation and crystallization, and that's only a slow reaction when it's dissolving out, right? If you get it all at once, the phase shift of the substrate, aka the water, you get everything out at once, crystallized, and well, that's a huge secret right there, but not really at all because it's common sense. But that's how it operates.
yeah. John Digman's bringing up a good point, saying that everything outside of the sphere there that we're seeing, that's water vapor plasma. That's important to realize that's exactly what it is, right? Because it's water vapor, but it's not just water vapor that's being lit up by whatever's behind it. The fact is that it's in a highly charged and ionized state. Now, when you think about it like that, you quickly realize that, well, this is exactly what they were doing with the water motors and the water engine and everything that we were discussing there. It's just a matter of inducing a charge bias onto it and then breaking it into, out of saturation into a diffuse state and then knocking it with the other side of the energy in order to, get it to do what you got to, have done, which is have it turn into that plasma state. And the geometry, frankly, of that flare is really, really cool.
Right, like look at this one as it flares out as a tornado, exactly, as it breaks and twists, and then what the rings turn into.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to shout out JJ out there. He says, this is cool. I just want to point out in this, it looks like a king cobra sitting over the top of the ball.
Yeah, right. It does.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Man. Once you see the jellyfish, you can't unsee it. Which also happens to look like a blood cell, doesn't it? Also, no sort of correlation there. None whatsoever. Also in your blood, where all your blood cells are, that stuff was also not called plasma, just so you know.
Plasma and ionization acting as plasma and ionization does. Wow, imagine that, eh?
That, man.
And look at that. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, these are like pictures you hang on your wall, aren't they? They're like totally awesome.
Really are. Maybe that needs to be something available.
Yeah, it's showing the flare, right? Like this is a mini sun right here.
Dude, we're gonna have to put this on our t-shirts, Joe. This is what we need.
We could do t-shirts. I could do prints that are just like not $175 and smaller. If you want like a small print of stuff, that'd be really cool.
Get her done. Get her done of this mini sun.
There you go. We can do a calendar of this thing, man. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. The year of the RAV. The year of the RAV.
Absolutely. Well, it's what plasma physics should be able to show us, and they can't show us as well as Sean's showing everything now. Between every picture he's ever shown, man, if you want to know how this universe works, just look at what he does. It's incredible. By the way, when we go into the atom part of this, and you see the structure in there,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
And we explain exactly what that is and why it causes the gravity in our whole planet. You're going to be amazed. It's because of that structure in itself and what it actually does inside of it is where your gravitational effects
look at
start.
how it also appears as a crescent moon too, right? From this perspective.
It does. And that's because of that sweeping motion that I keep on describing. It does that. It just pulls up to that one side, man.
Yeah, dude, this thing is the absolute best. Sean, you deserve everything, brother, not us. So
none of this would be possible right now without Sean, and God bless you, Sean, and we hope that your health continues to heal and you're able to continue to do this. And look at that, that's Inception mushroom jellyfish. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Jelly. That's cool.
But again, it's forming that sheath and that RAV, the RAV formation, layering of the separation between the different layers, and just the natural. It's wild. Like, this imaging is amazing.
It is, but what this shows is actually something the same, okay, but also unique. And I want you to realize what it is that we're looking at right now. Okay. Because you have, the electrolysis and or steam or whatever's going on exactly, right? Occurring both inside and outside of that the RAV. Okay. Usually the RAV has enough containment, okay, to keep stuff like that from coming out, okay, in its environment, which it's normally formed. But in this configuration, it doesn't
So this is the
because of the
phase
glass.
shift configuration, right? Where it's
So,
building out in the different phases of matter around it from densest to lightest.
well, what I'm saying is that what you're seeing on the left of your screen right now is dynamically the same thing as what the lens flare is, except because it
Oh
has
yeah.
a density that it's able to also charge and accumulate from. That's not a gas medium exclusively.
Oh,
Now
exactly.
you're
The
able to
light is
visually
acting
see
like
it.
matter, just like the
Right.
smoke, just like gas. It's all the
Now we're
same.
getting it.
Because
Now we're
the
getting it.
vapor, right? Because the vapor is a higher density, you're able to more tangible. It's more tangible than it is when it's just a lens flare. But that's exactly what you see in the magnetosphere of the Earth, and that's what the lens flare, blah
Yep.
blah, lens flare.
And of the moon.
The flare arcade is okay in what we've been showing all along in the standard configurations, but then you have it this way, and now you're just seeing the same thing again, but now it's repeated in a way that what are you going to tell me? It's a lens flare now?
Yeah. Okay, guys, real quick. I want to answer this question. Okay. It says, I have a problem with this. How can you have resonant plasmoids? Is instead of charged structure of water, plasma usually lasts only microseconds without electricity. That is correct. But what we're trying to get at here is something that you're not understanding. You see, this goes on to what Joe said about the lighting effects and how everybody perceives it wrong. You see, it's not a lighting effect, it's focus light. It is like a magnifying glass. It's focusing the light. And once it hits something, it can structure it and produce this again. So when you see something like this, the reason why this is so important in plasma physics is because the sun is a explosion over time. So it takes time to develop and there's a time dilation field in it. So the only way to see it is to create something that we can expand on the time dilation field itself so that we can see everything for what it is, you know what I mean, as we slow it down. That's the most important part of the RAV structure. It is a teaching tool. It shows you everything you need to know about plasma physics because you're right, a plasmoid goes away in seconds. Ball lightning goes away in minutes. Okay. This lasts all day. You can see everything you're supposed to see in this. That's the point.
Even the moon. I'm sorry to have to interrupt and bring that up again, Nathan, but we're gonna have to talk about that at some point.
Talk about what?
How we saw the moon form as this RAV, this supposed lens flare, and like it kept this structure. It was moving the clouds around into this formation and like everything. And it appeared the first night after the first RAV video came out, and we watched it for a good couple hours, just moving the clouds, and it went with the moon and the full moon as it moved over like the sky. It was just wild. And then again, I saw it again when I came out to Nevada on the next full moon out here, and it was just wild. And that it's not a lens flare or flaring, it's just the RAV formation, and it has to do with light particle or wave particle duality and how light's interacting with ionized gas and forming into this more dense energy solid structure, atomic structure.
So,
Hey, Nathan, if you wouldn't mind, whenever you have a second, can you put that last comment back up?
yeah, give me a second. Just so you know, Bernie, what we saw was sheath zones. It's important to know that because they talk about dark energy. What they're not recognizing is we're inside of sheath zones at all times. They're just very present to the eyeball, so you don't get to see it, right? But they're always there. That's the thing. That's
And
the
you can
problem.
see that one dark spot, the yang there, that is where the dark energy is going and forming around and coming from, right? So the hole is there. You just have to look for it.
Yeah, I think that they don't understand. I can't find the comments just yet, Joe. I'm looking.
Well, anyway, I
Oh,
mean, it was regarding the plasmoid, what he had an issue with, because they generally don't persist, right?
there it is.
Well, now standard whenever plasmoids are being discussed in the context. Well, how are they formed? Well, generally speaking, the most common way has been through a phase differential force. Okay, so anytime you're taking a gas and putting a gas through water, it creates what? A bubble, right? Well, that's a phase differential. Well, if you then have a pressure differential on top of an alternating pressure differential on top of a phase differential, you're forcing a cavitation state. Okay, so basically, what you're doing at that point is you're creating um, a situation, okay, where the plasma is forced into a state of plasmoid. Okay, you're taking the ionization and forcing it into a plasmoid state, and then when it pops, what ends up happening is it'll persist for a small amount of time as long as the charge bias is present in the environment, but then immediately dissipates because the phase and pressure differential has changed once it exits the medium of that phase differential. Okay. What RAV does is a lot different. Okay. Because what it does is it has a regulated exchange between an anode and cathode. It's that regulated offset differential exchange that's the mechanism of its self-organizing property in the first place. That self-organizing property separates the duality, creates a chase. The chase creates a vector change from a current state to a potential state to a magnetic component state. Well, the magnetic component, once that persists and the density grows, the dimensionality grows. It goes from a magnetic potential, okay, or magnetic mode, okay, to a real form of vortex magnetism, to then a spherical toroidal magnetic field. Well, that happens when the fields deflect across each other, come back, return, and when they return, they all meet at the intermedium because they deflected against each other, even though they're opposites, because they were headed the same way at each other. Two things that are opposites headed the same way are the same. So they repel. But when they do the turnaround, then they connect. When they connect at a 45, it crosses, creates a third vector. What does this mean? Well, it means that everything that you know about plasmoids and how they were previously created, okay, is proof of concept, okay, that it's possible that it could be created. However, it wasn't created to be sustained because realistically, there's no way to use it because it's transient. What are you going to do with it? I mean, yes, it could have transmutive properties. There's things you can do with it, but does it open up all the potentials of what the plasmoid itself is actually capable of? And the answer is no. It's only by not forcing it into the conditions, but rather creating the conditions in which it self-forms, okay, that it can then be sustained. Okay, by forcing the conditions and making a huge amount of contingencies that are unsustainable, it's never going to persist, and it's always going to be transient, and it's never going to be usable to its fullest potential. Period. Hard stop. That's it.
Okay.
You know?
Real quick, I want to shout out Gigi and Traveling Fools later on tonight. We're going to be on the Traveling Fools channel, man. Make an awesome night tonight, man. We all have laugh and have a good time over there. It's going to be exciting, man. 7:30 Pacific Standard Time on my channel, also on the Traveling Fools channel over there. Going to be awesome, man. I just want to say real quick, this is what Bernie wanted to show. And this is what we saw in the sky when he was out here in California with me. He saw it in the desert as well. You see the center, you see the light going both top and bottom from it, and it spears out. You also see a satellite from it. You can see it on the bottom right. And then you see the big spherical structure around the entire thing. Well, there was many of those. There was like 3 or 4 of them that we saw build out from that.
They went out for like tens and like tens of miles, probably, like the outermost ring. It was wild, and like it was the flow of clouds were flowing into these rings. It was It was just so wild to watch, and the camera just never does it justice.
So I need to explain this so people understand this. This is always there. You don't see it, but it's always there. The only reason it's there is because it's lit up with energy right now. It has extra energy being produced out of the moon in order to see it. Now, this is what dark energy is. It's always present. You don't always see it light up. It's a photon right now. It's going out, giving energy to that ring. That ring lights up just like a photon. And it does it several rings out, but this is always present everywhere. The sun puts this out all over the place. So anywhere in the solar system, that dark energy, there's still energy there. It's never gone. You just can't see it because we don't get to see this every day. This only happens when you have extra energy and it's able to light up the zone itself. So these are sheath zones going right around the moon. This is exactly why plasma physics is important, so you know what this is.
Exactly, and that point is where what Joe was just explaining, where the light forms, is where it's folding back in on itself and able to, where they all interact, and then is excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly
no,
what
it's
this
cool. I mean,
is.
you could see that ring right around it. It's exactly what it is, man.
We just answered dark energy for all you physicists out there, what it really is. This is what it is. Soon as
Right?
I mean, look, as soon as the sun
But
forms, it sets a
guys, it's not
condition.
there. It's not there though.
No,
It's
no, I'm
not
just telling
anywhere. It
you.
doesn't exist.
No, as soon as the sun forms, it sets a condition in a certain area, which is a ring, and it goes around the entire solar system. Or I shouldn't say ring, it's a sphere. And inside that sphere, it sets a condition of energy on where it has light energy and heavy energy in zones just like this. That's exactly what it does. There's no getting around it. There's dark energy everywhere.
Well, it's in a sphere, so you can go around in it, but you can't get around it, right?
When you go outside of it, it's still inside the cosmos. It's still, you know what I mean, inside of the universe. We're still inside a bubble, inside of a bubble, inside of a bubble. Dark energy's everywhere. You don't get away from it. Okay, we don't know
Can't
the
get
condition
around that
out
we're
there because
going
we've never
around and
been
around
outside
and
our
around inside a
cosmos.
bubble. Sorry.
Yeah, we've never been outside the bubble. We don't know. Look, this is how stupid physics is. This is the answer right here, right in front of you. There's no debate. This is what it is. This is what plasma physics says. You don't need a higher degree to find that out. You just need to look at the observation of what's going on. We knew that the outside where the sun and the solar system is looks just like this. There's no debate in it. This is why, okay, this is why when you have to understand how time dilation works, that you can understand this. We are in a time dilation field inside of our solar system. The speed of light is how you measure the time dilation field. It's a set condition, it's emergent. As soon as the sun ignites, we have it. It's the speed of light in our solar system. As the sun changes, that number is going to change. Okay. Why? Because it's an explosion over time. It's time dilation inside the sun. It has a very slow reaction in the core, and then it's a reaction on the outside. So you see, we're getting hydrogen being produced right now, right? Wait until the sun puts out more energy when it starts to decay and it goes into that explosive state. You're going to get all kinds of elements created then. We're literally going to go through the periodic table by the time we're done. Look, this is why we do this, because so we can understand this. This is why when you get suns that are much bigger or 4 or 5 times the size, that time dilation field is different. Therefore, the speed of light's going to be different in every single one of these solar systems. That's where physics goes wrong. They think it's a constant. It is not. It's emergent. That's the biggest difference. That's why the math works. 100% the math works when it becomes emergent. When gravity becomes emergent, then the math is put in its place and it's 100% working. The way they're doing it right now is they're fighting it and they're trying to say it's a constant, and it's not. Okay. And by the way, this also tells you why energy is not conserved. These zones right here, every time you go through them, it slows down your ship. Why? Because the energy is being pulled in by these rings. It slows you down over time. So as you go throughout our solar system, you will actually slow down and then stop. That means energy is not conserved in space. You have it wrong. Energy is not conservation of a lady dropping her balls. Okay.
Well,
That's
there's
not what
another
it
thing
is.
to
This
it
is
too.
what it is.
So, and it has to do with the time dilation, and also, as I had proposed, at least, theoretical, right, about an energy exchange being mechanism of time and time dilation. So if you realize that, okay, time dilation is a factor and it's in a diffuse state because it's emergent, and there's certain components of it that are going to play a role in what the time dilation is, you understand the idea that Earth and the moon, right, have a relationship with one another clearly. Okay. And we also have two diffuse states of separate time dilation. And where these two areas meet in their most diffuse states, okay, actually would lead to a separate differential that exists, right? Which would actually be a compression between the two, where light would be going one speed and then another, right? And that could be representative of the ring that we're seeing here as well. Based on that time dilation diffusion and the how it is there, how it is here, and then the states in between.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm gonna try to restart my phone here as you guys are I can't hear very well, so I'm gonna see if I can restart the browser and rejoin in a second. But
Okay.
absolutely, next level discussion right here, and everyone should definitely forward this and share it and send it to any physicist or astrophysicist right? Because this is we're showing evidence here. This isn't just theoretical.
Nope, not theoretical at all. It's proof. It's what it does. You can't lie
Observation.
about it. Yeah, I mean, once you see it and you see the RAV spin up and you see everything about this and you know exactly why it does it, you already know the condition is set. If you're not taking the environmental condition into what we're doing here, then it's not going to end well for you. Okay, you have to see it as it tells you, not what you think it is. Take your preconceived notion and put it aside, and then just take in the evidence and see what it's trying to tell you. That's all we're doing here. We're not sitting here with a bunch of rules and going down and checking them off. That would be the stupid way to do it. We're doing it the right way. What is going on? What do we see? Are we seeing it being emergent? Yes, we are. Are we seeing it take on the right properties? Yes, we are. Are we seeing the plasma build out into structure? Yes. That's kind of the thing that's going on here, man. So when you see stuff like this, you can instantly understand, hey, that's just a higher state of energy, and this is how photons work. They're not, oh man, it's not, hey, it's a particle, it's a wave, it's a photon. No, they're separate entities. The photon is an excited state of energy right here. You can see it in the ring. Okay, that's your photon. Okay, the wave it got to it is the energy that goes from the moon itself over to that area right there. Okay, so it breaks down, right? And the particle is the sun, or is the moon in this case. It is the entity in which it came from, it emitted from. That's how you work this out. They're not all one thing. It's one event that takes place over time, is what it is. But it's not one thing. I think people get mixed up in that a lot.
So, John Bigman said, well, what do I propose happens when light slows down and speeds up? Well, I'm just thinking about this logically, right? So, if light is non-manifest in its transient state, aka it's in a waveform, right? Okay, so it's not bright, it's not shining, it's not visible, it's just transient. It only is manifest, okay, in a collapsed state. Well, what would happen when it speeds up, it slows down? Well, it would enter into a collapsed state, making it into a state of uh, higher compression, right? Because it would have a differential in its speed or time or how it's experiencing time, however you want to look at it. But then it would also go into a diffusion of everything in that particular same resonance zone. So what you end up with would be a luminous event until it passes through it and then enters into a new state of transience. So it's basically like scalar. When you have something that's scalar, okay, and then you bring it into a relationship with another waveform, okay, it would collapse, and then it becomes what it is again, and that's sort of how that tends to work, and it would be the same because it enters into a scalar state when it's in that wave function.
Because
So
it's 360 degrees.
exactly.
Yeah, it builds out a little bit different. People should really understand what scalar is and how it works.
Mhm.
Or at least I should say the version that people put out when they say it, it's actually technically named something different. But when they talk about it with Tesla coils, that's what they reference. So you have to, basically say it that way. So anyway, I just want to show you, this is Sean's got another video here. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So you can clearly see that he's got the anode inside of it looks like a glass tube.
Last
And
two.
it goes inside that ball. The ball's completely full with water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we're getting the bubbles from that.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the little stuff moving around in there, though. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah, the stuff moving around is all that electrolyzed gas. I mean, the anode itself and that tube with the positive bias is going to be an oxygen accumulator. So that's, you're getting those oxygen bubbles right there, I'd have to think.
Yeah. Says the bubbles are hanging on tight. Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this because we see the water almost clear there, right? You see the little dots in it? As we go through here, we just see them increase and decrease. They look
Yeah.
like little tiny bubbles. I don't know if you can see that.
I mean, I see them.
Just interesting.
This is something that would have to be really to talk about the bubbles. You'd have to go frame by frame on it, like I do with most everything Sean puts out for us.
Yeah, see, so let's compare this to the other one then, Joe. The other one, all the bubbles wanted to go up, right? And the half water, half gas, right? This one's full of water. We're getting the energy on the outside, but now because the glass rod's placed down the center, we're getting bubbling on the rod itself.
Yes. Well, like I said, there's a positive charge bias that would be occurring there. So a positive charge bias, there's going to be electrolysis in this reaction regardless. Anytime you're going to create electrolysis, you're breaking down water, and water is made of two components. We say that, oh, well, it's if it's cathode, it's hydrogen. That's because the cathode acts as a hydrogen accumulator. But in this case, when it's the anode and it's glass tube that has a positive charge differential, it would stand to reason at least that the bubbles that are accumulating on the glass tube are doing so because that's what the oxygen is attracted to. So the oxygen would be attracted to the anode, and that would make total sense. Now, if it was the bare anode and not in a glass tube, what you would see is probably different because it would more likely than not go into a total ionized state at that point. But because there's an insulator in between the two, there's enough at least attractive force to get the oxygen to stick to it without fully ionizing, at least initially.
Gotcha.
That's what I think at least.
All right, I gotta show another video here, and Sean sent me this a while back. Now we talk about lighting effects and stuff, right? Look at the wall behind this as this thing goes off. It's basically focusing the light through that shell onto the wall.
That it is. That's cool.
Not only that, you can see, okay, what they call the lighting effect, the green.
Yeah. It's on the reflection.
It's all there. I mean, it literally focuses it
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
I just found it amazing, man. I like to watch this one in slow motion. I don't have it here for everybody, but you could see the different things light up in real slow motion and which one takes, you know, based on the arc that you're getting or no arc in some cases. And it's playing back and forth. I don't know if you noticed this, but it's playing back and forth between the anode and cathode and where the RAV forms on each one.
Yeah.
You see it get brighter, less, brighter, less. It's playing back and forth.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing.
Just think of this. Put a coil in between those 2 points. That's where you pull the energy out. When you get it to bounce and continuously build that RAV on each side, but then the exchange of energy between them, it gives you the energy that you could pull out as you want to. It's like skimming the top off of milk. You know what I mean? You're just continuously taking it, and then it'll keep doing this as it explodes. You know what I mean? And then it pulls back in. It creates a vacuum to pull it back in, and then boom, back and forth, back and forth. That's where you get your energy exchange. That's where the energy is right there, because you get the highest state of explosion, you get the highest state of vacuum, and it goes back and forth, back and forth. When you get those, that's the highest energy potentials in each side of it. You know what I mean? So when you say back EMF, well, there's your back EMF in the vacuum, right? Then you get the high energy explosion, right? You're getting all that energy. That's where you want to pull it.
The thing is that not only would you be able to pull it from that point, but you'd be able to pull it without a loss of what it's doing itself, because
Right.
all the pressure of that exchange is present and is enough to cause call it sympathetic resonance, if you'd like, sympathetic resonance in something to induce a current, a secondary current that wouldn't even take off of to take any current off of that relationship. Now, yeah, that's really cool. Now, there was something before related. It's not related to this video, okay, but it's related to the last video a little bit. It has to do with the energy exchange and the accumulation that occurs when that energy exchange is occurring. The same as the oxygen was attaching to the tube. Nathan, do you have that video I sent you of the crystal, the one that was very, very slow, where with the sparks? Do you remember the one I'm telling you?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
I gotta find where it is.
Yeah, and
you want the slow motion or the first one you sent me?
I don't know. Put it up and we'll see if it's it. If not, I'll just say no.
Okay, give me a second.
It was one of the hyper slow motion ones that I sent you. I think.
That was the last one. Okay, well, we can
No, I
start
think it
with
was the first one. First one. Yeah.
All right. This is the.
Nope, not that one. Yeah, let's save this one for the for episode 3.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm trying to get the right one for you, Joe.
No, I know.
Give me a second.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go to the last one you sent me. Okay.
All right, go
I think that's what it is. because you zoomed in and everything. So
Yeah, it's way zoomed in and it's way slowed down. Nope, not that one either. All right. I'm going to take a second, hop off, and send it to you, and I'll be right back.
okay.
All right.
Oh man, finding the right one, man. What's going on, man? Oh, this is awesome, guys. I love evaluating this stuff and see what goes on inside of it. It's always a little bit different between everything you do, but it shows you so much. So, yeah, I was shout out Lightspeed, man. He's working hard on that thing. Again, what he did is he created a computer program, and then he's got sensors to go out to everything. And we're going to be able to do this in real time, see exactly what's going on, and then we'll be able to build that program to where you can see the energy flowing in and out of something. Going to be completely awesome to see this, and completely awesome to do it. And he was asking me a question earlier about how he wants it set up, and I just say this: in every configuration that we put out there with the RAV or the Gravity Flyer or whatever else we're doing in that situation, they're all going to be different. So we'll just have to 3D print a base where the sensors go and extend the wires out to them in order to capture what we're looking for. So the RAV's, fairly small area, Gravity Flyer's big area. I mean, we'll just have to play with it back and forth. As long as we have it functional and we can read things off of it, man, we're 100%. As long as the electronics talk to the computer program, man, we can work around everything else. And I think you're going to get every answer you want, man. All right, I think Joe's back. Give me a second. All right, Joe, give me a second, and I'm gonna download the last one you sent me if you just sent it.
Cool. So we always talk about this energy exchange that's occurring, and it's just been like the subjective thing. Now, the oxygen, what I propose would be oxygen on that anode tube, okay, is just an example of this video that I'm going to show you. And what this video is there was steam, okay, that was when one of my crystals blew up, okay. There was a little tiny bit of steam produced, okay, and the steam immediately cathodically ionized, okay, and what it did was it turned into plasma within the steam. And I want you to look at the video that's in super slow motion, and you'll see exactly what all that ionized cathodic steam did. All right, now go ahead and roll it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Yep, no worries.
Is it playing?
Oh yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was looking at something else. Sorry, trying to answer a question. Oh yeah, look at that.
Now you see the sparks flying. Where are they all flying to? They're flying directly into the middle of the RAV. Okay, that is what happens when the cathodic energy in higher density gets released. Okay, and it's literally sucked into this energy exchange at a much higher rate. Okay, because it becomes free like that and available. Okay, and you could see they look like sparks, right? You could see the sparks literally flying at a hugely accelerated rate directly into it. Okay. Now, that's what I'm talking about. This is what's happening through the substrate. So in this case, it's a crystal and a rock. Okay. So it's actually doing the same thing, except it doesn't glow like that necessarily as it's exchanging through. But you got to see it with your own two eyes. It's literally sucking it in.
Well,
from every single direction.
This, by the way, just so everybody knows, is when you couple fields, it takes the energy around this whole thing and changes it. Okay, you're bringing in entropy to your system, which means it's going to have a directional flow. which means that now it moves, you know, whether it's from hot to cold or cold to hot. And that's how you play with that in your system here. You're able to see it in this video. You know what's happening when you can basically turn off the power and the thing still runs for a while. You know you played with the environment. You know that you coupled it and it was a strong coupling. This is what we're talking about, guys. This is something that I'll be going into when we get to Tesla Tech and show you how coupling works. It's an amazing way to understand something.
Now, Aaron also said that it's changing the environment via eddy currents, and he's dead on. And if you roll this thing from the top, okay, and you look at the charged steam cloud, okay, what you're going to notice is that it barrel rolls right along the magnetic field, okay? You're going to notice it condense and barrel roll.
Okay.
You see it on the left, especially, and then it literally sucks it up. And all that right there is all highly charged vapor.
Okay, I'm going to give a shameless plug real quick, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to remove this for a second. This right here is exactly what Joe is using in his experiment. I sent him one of these Tesla coils, and he modified how it comes out from the energy in the center here, which has absolutely no connection to the rest of the coil. It just has a rod sitting in the center. And then he uses the number 2 winding, so you get an anode cathode situation going on. But it's in the Tesla coils that I sell in my shop on the Esty. It's the link is in the description. And that's exactly what Joe's using to pull this off.
That's it. Once I understood how it was formed, right, I knew that all the pieces were available right with the Tesla coil, just to be able to do it. And with a PNP, it's kind of a little bit like a cheat code, okay? Because it actually forces the entire thing into resonance. So whereas, that you're looking for these differentials all the time, the differentials are there. Okay, the PNP is in a constant state of trying to force both sides closer and closer together in these differentials, in resonance rather, despite these differentials being in place. And what that ends up leading to is something interesting. Okay, and it's actually, see it as a good byproduct, see it as a bad one, and be it as a thing. Okay, but it has so much like energy production, if you want to think of it that way. Okay, amplification, that's the better word, right? That it overwhelms it once it gets into saturation. And if you start doing stupid crap like hitting piezoelectrics with high voltage, it ends up compressing everything and dumping it right back into the system to then try to correct the resonance again, and you'll end up blowing up your PNP over pretty short durations of time, unless if you offload all of that extra current back pressure. So it's something to bear in mind. But it's correctable. But aside from that, it also produces the byproduct or proof of the byproduct that we're looking for, energy, right? All this energy amplification, it's actually producing it and the reaction, but then also capturing it and then trying to recycle it through itself. And over time, it's like, boom, and that's it. Then it's done. So if you could scrape it off and use it, hey, more power to you.
Well, so Joe's getting back EMF in his system.
Oh, a big back EMF, yeah.
Yeah, and we need to put a snubber circuit on the coil in order to capture it and then reuse it. So that's my fault. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to work on the circuit itself to pull that together. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It's a simple diode, you know what I mean, going into where the number 2 goes and then putting a junction off of that in order to put it into capacitors so that when the back EMF happens, it won't go through the diode, but it'll push back through the capacitor and load it. and then we can just put that right back into the circuit itself, and it'll shoot it back out, and it'll actually make the circuit work more efficiently, because where it doesn't have capacitance now, it will have capacitance. Therefore, you're going to get a better exchange altogether. So my fault, I haven't had time to work on it, but Joe's absolutely right in what it's doing.
Now, what I want to draw the correlation here between what I'm showing and what Sean's showing, because it's significant. Okay. The point is that once you realize that the plasma itself is charged particles, okay, well, it kind of breaks the paradigm as to what we think of matter, right? Now, in a liquid substrate, when you have a structured ball of rotational plasma, okay, it's not made of water, okay, but yet
No.
it's moving through the molecular structure of the water. And
Yes.
that makes sense because, I mean, water is a liquid crystal, okay? It is. It's just not always structured that way, but it has a liquid crystal potential. And it's literally moving this energy right through the molecular structure of the water. In this case, okay, and maybe not in this particular frame, okay, but to a degree, okay, it's actually moving the plasma through a solid crystal lattice structure. So you got to get your head around that because it becomes a little like, you know, dissonant when you start to realize that you're moving particles through a solid material. And it's the only reason it's breaking it apart in this case is because of resonance, right? This is not in resonance with it. Now, if it was
Yeah.
in resonance, it wouldn't have broken it apart.
As a matter of fact, it would cool down the entire experiment.
Absolutely. Big
That
time.
as soon as you find resonance in something, the amount of heat in something goes away. Just understand that that's the way resonance works. It removes impedance. So if you remove the impedance is what heats things up. And as soon as you put in resonance, boom, it's done. Hey Joe, what camera do you use?
It's just my that was just 4K 60 on my Samsung S24 Ultra.
Is it
And
Android?
yeah, and then I slowed it down a few times, you know, and cropped it. So that's what you get out of that. So
Gotcha.
this is like slowed down at least 64 times. It might be more.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
this is very, very, very slow motion. But how else are you supposed to capture this thing that you see in this brief instant that occurs? But you know, like if I didn't slow it down nearly frame by frame, there's no way that you would have been able to see these particles literally curving and moving and sucking like a vortex into this thing. It's crazy what they're doing, you know. We'll roll it one more time in case anybody kind of missed it the first go at it, because I mean they really go from every single direction upwards and inwards like that. They're riding the outside of the magnetic field.
Sorry, I was looking for your testicle. You sent it me a while back, the picture, and I wanted to show everybody it, but I don't know that I have it right now. What is that? Let me put this on the front page. Okay. Sorry, Joe. Let me put it one more time. And of course, I don't see it. All right. Give me just a minute, Joe. I'm going to look for this. Uh, no, go ahead, Joe.
What's that?
Go ahead and explain whatever you need to explain. I'm looking for something right now.
I'm sorry. I mean, I did explain it. I mean, you can see all the ionized charged particles literally accelerating and expanding outward, only to be attracted into the RAV itself. So that's the iconic energy exchange in a not so traditional way. Like it's not the way that the RAV usually does it, right? But it's showing you exactly what that attraction looks like and how it pulls it all in. And it's a mutual attraction, which is cool too. You know, it's a initial repulsion, and then which is why you see it expanding before it comes in. So it repels, and then all of a sudden, once the relative angles change, it becomes an attractive event, and then comes right into it. And that's what makes it an explosive and implosive event, right? It's that change between this repulsion and attraction. That's what makes an explosion into an implosion. And you can see it present here while the RAV is formed. And you know, this particular RAV, it's interesting, is both inside and outside of that cube simultaneously. Like there's portions of RAV actually inside of it, not the whole thing in this particular frame. As this video progresses, and this is only a short clip of it, and most people have seen it, but the RAV actually forms inside of the crystal and blows it into pieces, you know, and then forms in the remainder of the crystal and then blows those into pieces. I love that thing, man. It's great.
Sorry, I'm almost there, Joe.
Yeah, and no, it's not a cheap high-speed camera. It's not a high-speed camera at all. It's just you know, I just recorded what I did and then slowed it down. I did record it at a pretty high frame rate, though, at a pretty good resolution. So, you know, there was, you could make out what happened. If I didn't do that, then we wouldn't have gotten anything off of this. But that's actually how I analyze Sean's work. It's how I analyze things Nathan sends me. And my own is I take everything and I look at it as close to frame by frame as possible. Frontwards and backwards, over and over and over again. And then I change levels and I change, you know, that way, because when you start to change levels, you know, high, mid, and shadowing, you know, and you start to change all those gamma dynamics, and then you change saturation levels of color and so on. You change all those levels, and when you put them into a state of fluctuation, it exposes things that you wouldn't necessarily see or catch otherwise. So any piece of footage, like if it's 1 minute long, I would say that typically I spend probably 2 hours, you know, literally tearing apart a 1 minute clip. And that would probably be a conservative estimate. So that's how I come up with the stuff that I do on it. You know, it's how I'm familiar.
Yeah.
And that's how we edit, is watching over and over and over again, frame by frame by frame, and we just keep watching, and then, you know, that's how you pick up those little tiny details of figuring out what's going on in your experiment.
That's it.
All right, trying to find this is probably going to be hopeless, guys. I'm sorry.
And that was an amazing shameless plug, and everybody should buy Nathan's testicle coils for sale, as they are next level, and you can modify them like Joe does to do these experiments.
Right on.
Yeah, I just gotta say this, guys. In the whole thing with the Tesla coils, I'm working on the circuit, a little bit of revision in it. We're looking at the snubber circuit, but I'm also looking at replacing the transistor where it's easy to swap out. So it's basically just a plug here, and you can swap it out by just changing the bolt. You know what I mean, doing the bolt and putting it in. It'll make it easier for people to buy parts for it. So instead of soldering everything and go through it, it'll be clip, done. you're back up and running in a few minutes. So I'm looking at a revision for that for my Tesla coil out there, and also putting in the spot for the Sonobra circuit. So kind of some updates on that. They're not there yet, but that's the future of it. But as you can see, these things are brilliant, man. These things are gorgeous. And
I got ahead of you on that because I had already ordered the connectors to.
oh, did you really?
I got tired of pulling the damn thing apart. I haven't done it yet because I only have one PNP left, and I'm like, I just know I'm going to smoke it in the first few minutes. But that I have to say to the audience that that's not common, okay? And it is absolutely how I'm using it, and because I haven't corrected the problem as to why it's blowing it up. It has nothing to do with the Tesla coil, and if you're not doing the ridiculous things I'm doing, it's not gonna fail you like that.
Oh yeah, if you just turn it on, dude, it'll last forever.
Oh yeah. If you're just doing normal experiments and normal local, you're fine.
You're pushing things to the max.
Yeah. I'm doing what I set out to do, which was create way more energy and have it be accumulating, and when you're successful, like that's what happens. It blows it up.
Now, I put on this video, guys. I just want everybody to see it. We are doing this week, when I put the video together, and we're going to try to get it out by Monday. We're going to do episode 3 on Plasma Unleashed. And it's all about putting the RAV in a different formation. So putting it in crystal, like Joe does. Putting it in the crystal like Sean does. I make double RAVs. So I can make 2 RAVs bounce off of each other with the same cathode. So there's different things and different formations. Guys, I'll just pull this down real quick. Some of the lighting and stuff that goes on in what we do and how you see different experiments is absolutely just amazing looking. There's so many things that you see in there. Like, you literally, if you're religious, you'll see a bunch of religious symbolism in all of this plasma all
you'll
over
see
the
it
place.
either way because it forms naturally. If you're religious, you'll understand the symbols.
Yeah.
It's there regardless.
It's crazy. I mean, look, we created the RAV, double RAVs, like I said, for mine. Joe created it inside the crystal. So you get the prism inside the crystal that lights everything up. Sean did a bunch of stuff through lava rock, which is amazing. Yeah, there's just stuff everywhere on this next episode. It's probably going to be a little longer than the other 2, and it's going to be a little more expansive between Joe's portion and my portion. But it's just going to be awesome to watch. It's like one thing after the other, all exciting stuff as soon as you see it.
So I'm very excited for that, by the way, and everybody else should be too, because I'm going to throw it out there. We're going to be presenting and discussing configurations of this that we've never shown before. So you're going to want to see that. I do want to point out though, what you saw in Sean's experiment earlier with when the whole entire sphere was lit up, okay, and you saw the spots form, right, and they're in that same configuration. For anybody mentioning Ashton Forbes and that, then MH370 and all that stuff, well, look at the thermals from what he's saying, Gargan Stare, thermal imaging of those orbs, and what you're going to see is that there's a variant thermal signature of the orbs that is very, very similar, to what Sean is showing in that particular experiment. So it's going to have the zoning like that, which is a little spotty and stuff, where those spots stay in place, but the whole entire rest of the thing is moving. So it's rotational in itself and orbiting, right? Rotational and orbiting, like one of those jobs. But the spots staying consistently placed.
I got a video that actually shows the formation of plasma that came from Sean, and it'll show you how it builds on there and how the orbs will actually build out. It's insane. It's one of Sean's best videos ever. Hey, Crypto, real quick, what were you showing there, buddy? What do you got going on?
All right, so I'm just showing some of what I've been finding in the Tesla Tech archives, as well as all of the extraordinary technology, science, and technology magazines that Steve has. And this is the Tesla Tech archives. And you're going to be at Tesla Tech. We're all going to be presenting at Tesla Tech this year. And we've got a heck of a tentative lineup. Even Terrence Howard is giving the thumbs up that he's going to be returning. So hopefully that maintains to be the case. We got as well Parker Edmondson. I've been able to contact him and get him on board, and he's the young fellow from Texas who was able to wirelessly power light bulbs in Chicago from his Tesla transmitter. And that, yeah, there's just so much going on. So everyone out there, another shameless plug, if you want to attend Tesla Tech 2026 in Albuquerque, August 12th to 16th, right now you can go to teslatech.info. That's www.teslatech.info. And if you purchase your tickets, they're currently 40% off. So 40% off to attend Tesla Tech right now. Heck of a good deal. So that's my shameless plug. And we're getting into things like single auto conversion plans for the geeks and T-field energy research and electric spacecraft and, Tesla's engine, a new dimension for power, Brown's gas, book 1 and 2. And yeah, there's all sorts of insane patents, books, suppressed technology in the Tesla Tech archives. And it's all compiled in Steve's magazines that are also for sale and on sale, I believe, at 40% off and some bonuses given away on teslatech.info. Anyone interested in buying their own? Thank you.
Right on, brother. That's awesome, man. It's going to be awesome to see everybody there, talk with everybody, and the conversations had there. Going to be off the charts, man.
Oh yeah, it's next level. The amount of amazing people there, and that Bob Greenier's also going to be there. I've been talking to him; he's coming back. So, like the evening socials are the absolute best part of Tesla Tech because it's all of us, all the different inventors, the different presenters, and the different tradespeople and the community, all just having discussions and figuring out our own designs and everyone else's, and it's the best possible time.
Right on. All right, check this out. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit. This is actually Joe right here. He has his anode. And Joe, why don't you describe the anode in this situation? This is
Yep. So the anode is a ribbed copper nail. Okay, to a point that has it has a counterclockwise double helix coil wrapped around it.
Well done, Joe. Sorry to interrupt, but I love everything you're describing in your engineering. It's getting really choppy here, and I've used up a lot of my data, so I'm gonna be watching, but I'll hop back in at the very end or something and just let you guys do your thing and next level work, brothers.
right on.
Right on, Bernie. Catch you later. Yeah, so this is one of the configurations that I like to run, and frankly, it's a very successful one. It's again, it's a ribbed copper nail as an anode that has, pardon me, it has a three-face point. Okay, so or I'm sorry, a four-face point in a pyramid shape at the bottom that I cut into it and flattened. Then it has a double counter clockwise wound coil, okay, that repeats up and down the top. And that is actually what binds the live wire, to it. So the idea and principle there was to induce a small magnetic vector into the initial current. So you're giving it not not pure magnetism to the current, but you're giving it a bit of a spin bias. And by introducing that initial magnetic component to it, it assists in setting up the initial conditions that have a greater pull of the cathodic energy. So when I set it up over a piece of it's like kind of like mudstone or siltstone, something to that effect, right? It's highly porous, pretty hard, although not crazy crystal hard, but it's pretty hard. It's absorbent. It takes on a good amount of water, and then I have the rock sitting in the water with the cathode directly underneath. The highest amount of cathodic potential is directly underneath the anode in the water, and that water allows for the cathodic bias to pass through the porous substrate, allowing for the RAV formation. It created a channel through over I was a little less than a half inch of rock, and did it probably in about 5 minutes, which sounds like a long time, but if you're thinking about quantum tunneling and electrolytic deposition through a solid substrate, I think it's pretty good. And once that virtual cathode, if you'd like to call it that, or tunnel is created, the RAV will actually start up on it almost immediately. And
Hey, Joe?
yeah,
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to. This is why I tell everybody that when it comes to granite and cutting it, when you have a whole lot more energy, it becomes very easy. Let's think about it this way. You're creating a RAV, so you're basically building a sculpting tool right now. The actual thing is sitting in water. So the whole thing's energized on the bottom. You're basically making an EDM, I think is what it's called, electromagnetic discharge machine, where it basically will cut through stone easily, like it's butter, when you put enough electricity in and have the right resonance to it. This is why I say that. You guys hopefully understand this. He just cut a hole in no time flat. You probably take longer to put your drill to that piece of stone and get that. So,
oh yeah. If it was in resonance with the stone, it would be doing, or actually, if it was just like 1 octave out of resonance with the stone, I should say, it would actually work to disassociate a portion of the lattice structure of the stone itself, and it would cut it very cleanly, because you're not cutting it, actually you're creating disassociative dematerialization is what you're doing at that point. This is not doing that, but it's not to say that it's not capable of doing that. John was asking, twist and focus, asked if I sharpen the image. I didn't sharpen the image. No, this phone has an excellent camera, and I use pro mode. So I have all manual settings when I take a lot of the photos. So the ISOs and the shutter speeds and the focus is all manually set.
Now look at this. You got a controlled RAV, okay, and you see all the yellow, right? Then you have...
That's a hyper RAV, by the way. Those are the ones that blow up my configuration. Those ones.
Look at the energy output of that thing. And that's like, what, 1 picture apart?
Yeah, just about. That's when it goes into that pulse state.
Yeah, look at all that energy. Nice. It's like a phoenix.
And that's actually a great depiction of what I've said about the RAV's light and that color that it puts off. That's as best as you could ever picture it, because it's this bright white that's whiter than any white you've ever seen. But then it's also this shimmery gold, and the shimmery gold is every single color in the rainbow simultaneously. It's very unusual, very hard to describe. And as far as a photo is concerned, this is the best depiction of it. You'll also notice the 45-degree transaxial light discharges. None of these are lens effects, by the way. I damn near went blind looking at this damn thing, and I could
Wow, we were
assure you that they're
hyperstate.
there. So
Wow, we were hyperstate RAV. I just had to come back in and interrupt and say that. This is right. That's when transmutation's happening, and you can tell because of that blue light spectrum of the white light that that's a different. What's the right word? Like, well, just light spectrum of element, right? The spectral analysis that's another element coming out of that, and you do have transmutation.
well, also a good point you make, Bernie, and I don't disagree. But if you look in between the fine lines of those transaxial discharges, you have that dark light phenomena that occurs. Okay, it would appear to be a shadow, but it's actually an emanation, and it's an emanation of anti-light. And say do with that as you may. Okay, but it's black and illuminated. So, yep, that's the
Right,
thing.
the conjunction point where the dark light, dark energy is interacting, and you get the transmutation.
That's it. And esoterically, when they say know the difference between the light and the false light, right? The true light and the false light. That's how you have to know the difference. You know, it's when you see it, that's what you get. Yeah, and that's the spot that it leaves. So the spot that like that spot is so it's in such a relationship with the anode that it will at all costs attempt to connect with it as long as it knows it's there.
Mhm.
Okay, so anything that you put in its way, it will tunnel through. Okay, and that's the point of why I put the crystal mostly on top of it, but not entirely, because I wanted to make this initial connection phase. This is it acknowledging that the other side is there. Okay, it's like having a load on a regular circuit, right? No energy, no load, right? Like so to speak. It's just not doing anything, so it's not there manifest. You needed to bring it in so it knows it's there. Now it's got something to work for. So now it's going to go through all its phases.
Test.
It's going to go through all its phases to make the best connection with that spot as possible. And if it's got to go through something to do that, it will. Period.
Hey, Joe, real quick, I just want to point out, you see when the energy goes on the outside here, and then you'll see when it goes on the inside.
Absolutely.
So it's barely lit up there. Wait until it gets on the inside.
It's going through though, because you can see it reflecting down on the bottom.
Saturation rate.
Now it's met that.
There
Now
it is.
it's starting to go. Now it's going in and it's saturating it. Now it's blasting through it.
That's what I mean. It's making a prism on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally light
Structuring it the same as it does nucleating, so to speak, the same way.
Sorry, I meant saturation threshold is what was achieved there.
Yep,
Look
that's
at that.
exactly it.
It's
So it becomes non-insulative. But remember, it's a perfect insulator.
yeah. It's until you find the point where it overwhelms it. Yeah. Oh man, that's so awesome. I to this day one of my favorite looks ever. Trying to see if I can find the part where you set it up.
That's just wild.
Now look at
Mini
that one.
stars, mini RAV hyperstars.
I mean, just because it's our regular audience here, if you want to show a preview of the purple job, the grape that I sent you, you could be my guest.
Okay.
But
Well, I kind of want to save it. I want to show these.
Okay.
This is all Joe's original experiment. This is awesome, man. When you see all the different things, everybody says a lighting effect, and then you really get to look at it and see what it is. By the way, you could see exactly what's going on inside the RAV by looking at these things. They're focusing it. I'm telling you, it's focusing it. It's not what you think it is. Just so cool. Look at that.
Yeah, I tried to get all the phases of its formation at one point. Yep. Boom. Now these RAVs are teeny tiny, but don't be deceived. They're
Yeah.
teeny tiny, but don't be deceived, because these teeny tiny ones are really, really powerful. They're really, really dense, and you can tell by the colors.
Oh wow. Oh wow. And each time that color changes, that's mass spectrum. I can never say the word, but a different element that you're seeing with the different colors of light coming out.
Ooh, look at that.
Um,
Hold
yeah.
on, it sucked it right back in. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
I love that. It said, "Hello, I'm here."
You don't hear. He pulled a scorpion.
Boom! Sucked it right back in.
Right? Look at that.
That's intense, man. Those things, by the way, like Joe was saying, those things will blind you.
Oh yeah.
It's like getting free LASIK. It literally will blind you, man.
So now the crazy thing is, and mind you, I've had a lot of experience welding stuff, so it's not like stuff like this is foreign to me. I've flashed myself with every kind of welder there is: arc welders, TIG welders, MIG welders, doesn't matter. It's a whole entire different thing. Because this is in a state of compression, it tricks you into thinking you can look at it.
Oh, hold on.
So
Here we go.
You look at it, but then you realize how bright it really is.
And look at that beautiful coil. If you want your own, you go to Old Man Builds and you buy one. And you can reproduce these experiments yourself.
So check this out. This is the one wire energy top, which basically means that the number 2 just goes off. You can see it clipped here to the left on that blue wire. And he put a wire right down the center. See the right there. He's got the rod going down the center. There's actually a little spot at the bottom of the coil that'll hold that rod right in place, so it doesn't shift around. It stays straight up and down. You can see the wire come off of it, the blue wire on your right-hand side. It'll go down to where his experiment is.
Hook up to a metal plate, and then, yeah.
Absolutely. So you can see what the experiment is right there. Everything that he's got going on. And 100% proof he's using that Tesla coil to do it.
That's it. That's all it was. And I built myself like little rigs and stupid things of shrink tubing and all sorts of nonsense. But it's just that that breakout wire at the top that's acting as the anode. That's where your hot energy is coming out of at the highest voltage anyway. Take it from there. And the cold energy always wants to make that connection. You're bringing the cold energy out and then making it, exchange asymmetrically. It's exactly what you want to do if you want to stabilize your plasma. But look at the size of the arc compared to the RAV size.
Yeah. Hey,
that little RAV is stable, man.
Just so everybody knows, this is the PNP circuit that I put on the coil, in case you're wondering. And usually it's right around max power, where Joe's at right there. That's about 40 volts, and it's about 8 amps is what you have going on in there. So, and then that's not even putting a capacitor in line with it. So, and this thing is a monster circuit. Like 5-6 feet away, you're getting things to light up around you. Bernie had his phone next to it. So tell me what happened when your phone got next to this thing. He probably went to sleep.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, I can tell you, it'll trip your phone out, and it actually causes problems with being able to record some of
I
the
can attest
reactions.
to that as well, and just the coils. And at Nathan's place, when he fires them up, oh, funky things start happening, and it's like, it's just wow. It's really a wow experience that until you experience it yourself, you just don't understand how powerful these fields are and how they interact, almost like spookily with digital technology and what it does. It's something else.
It starts
It really
changing,
is.
burning stuff, and going through his thing, and go to his Google and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some weird experiences with it, especially being able to capture some of the most successful stuff that I've done because it will let me do all sorts of stuff, but it'll shut my camera down every single time I open up the camera. Every single
Right?
time. It'll just be like you're not using the camera.
Yeah,
And
I
then you
remember
know
I
what
was recording something and it did the same to me. It was like, what? It's wild. It's crazy.
and if you bring it too close in sometimes, or believe it or not, if you sit in the charge field yourself too long and then you go and touch your phone, right? It will
Yeah,
not it
yeah,
will
I
not
experienced that.
respond. It will not respond to your touch. So if you have a touch screen, that's how you control the damn thing, right? It barely has buttons anymore. Well, it's like, who are you? You're dead. You're no
It's
one.
so frustrating and weird.
Yeah. It's very crazy stuff. But yeah, it's interesting to say that some of the most interesting stuff actually falls right into that category. You know that when that's happening, that you have the good stuff present.
Just so everybody,
That is true.
just so everybody knows, most layer exciter circuits on the internet, they blow up after the first 30 seconds to a minute. Sean tells you this all the time. They don't last. They will not stay on forever, and they're basically a fire hazard. Mine just stays on, man, and it's wicked. When you get around that energy, this is why I tell you, if you're in the zone of that field, you either feel good or you feel really bad. So if you feel really bad, go out, take your shoes off, put your feet in the dirt, let it go, let it discharge, and go back in. But yeah, you're going to get one of the other reactions from it because the circuit is so powerful. So yeah, it's just something different, something that not every Tesla coil does. That's why I build them the way I do. And yeah, it's pretty neat.
It really is, and it is that powerful. And it will, if you left it on, it will run and run and run until everything within its reach of diffusion, comes into saturation. And it's like I've said many times, it goes into states of diffusion and builds out in these rings. Same thing Nathan's been saying all along. Well, what that means is that it'll build out and out and out until it reaches a state of diffusion, but then collapse. Well, when it collapses, it comes back up at top of where it just built out and start building out more and more, except in a more diffuse state. So what you end up with is these bands that exist. And you'll be able to tell this if you have a gas tube. A fluorescent light will show you a lot, but those don't take a whole lot to be able to light up. If you take a gas tube of a noble gas, they take a lot more energy to excitate, create the
Or
excitation.
incandescent, right? Which is even more.
True story, right? Or even, believe it or not, LEDs, which are low wattage but require a very high frequency in order to properly operate too. Well, nonetheless, you'll notice that if you hit certain points, right, you might have to bring the tube pretty close to get it to start to light. Now, once it lights and it has that state, you could start to move it around and see exactly where it is that it's doing what. And you'll see that if you allow it to build out long enough that you'll have nodal points of excitation. So you'll actually just be like swooping it around at the same distance and then realize that all of a sudden it's twice as bright as it was left or right of it at the same distance away. Well, why is that? Well, it's for the same reasons that we're saying. It's building out in bands, and then the bands are actually creating an interaction at their torsion points, and that's either going to collapse at a certain points, or it's going to create amplification at certain points. And if you actually collapse the field of Nathan's coil, right, from the center energy, okay, it'll actually throw out a pulse. All right, and that pulse that it throws out, okay, first of all, don't stand there. Second of all, it throws out a pulse. If you could get that pulse to interact with the field, the larger field, the hot field, okay, it will collapse again and cascade upwards, okay, and actually give you a much greater reach. So it turns from a scalar vector, and then when the scalar vector collapses, it goes hyperbolic and goes like this, and all of a sudden, now you could take your tube and you can light it up on top of the coil, which there shouldn't really be tons of reach on, but you can light it up as far as your ceiling. So there's like little tricks to the trade here once you play with the thing enough. And I've never, knock wood, but I've never gotten hit by that thing, not once. So
I've created several EMPs out of this thing.
Oh, EMPs are different. Bad resonances, EMPs, oversaturation of
Hey now, those are the ones that start getting the black vans and helicopters appearing outside.
I shut down my live feed. I was on with John Bigman, and we're doing this live feed. We're doing experiments, right? So I had the Slayer exciter out, and then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, it started to try to resonate with the power source because I got it too close. And then, boom, everything shut off. Totally turned down the internet, turned off my computer. Everything in the room went dead, okay? And then I came back on, and I did it again. I didn't realize it was too close, and boom, blew it out again. I had to switch to my other circuit for my ZBS just so I wouldn't make sure I do that again. Dude, totally epic moments because he's like, oh, Nathan's gone and everything else is gone. He's all shut off. You know what I mean? Just in the middle of live experiments, man. It was totally awesome.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
You're gonna have to try setting up a phone or recording in a Faraday cage with like the camera right like in one of the holes to see if we could actually capture it. But then again, it'll probably go through it.
Oh yeah, this stuff is mean, man. Don't mess around.
Hey, but real quick, before we get totally off the subject, which is cool, because it is probably time to move on. But Astrolab on Bernie's channel had said, tape the crystal to withstand the force. Well, yes, your intuition is good, my friend. That's exactly what the discussion realistically comes to. There's two ideas here. Okay, one idea is just making sure that the resonance of the system, okay, is in tune with the crystal itself. And with quartz crystals, especially the purities that I was working with, is pretty damn predictable at 32,000 hertz, right? That's give or take, right? So you can get into the band of resonance and then it will not be destructive. It'll actually be an amplification event, which again, material situation without a snubber circuit ain't happening. Like if all the energy from the piezo effect of keeping that plasma moving in the crystal lattice were to, it's going to induce the potential of the piezo into a current through magnetism. You see how that works, right? Well, that current's got to go somewhere. It's going to supercharge what's going on inside. And then anything, past a certain point, it's going to put back where it came from. That's how that goes. So that's where the system failure comes in. So that's one thing important to know. But you are dead on when it comes to if you're not trying to bring it into resonance and you're just simply trying to contain it, what to do? Well, the answer is to create a spherical void inside of the piece of quartz and have your anode created on the inside, giving it a shorter travel to the cathode. Okay, while still bringing the RAV into contact, with the piezo surface, in the correct geometry, not a donut, a sphere, right, to allow it to self-form, build, and propagate within the cavity that you created. That fractured wasn't because of heat, and it wasn't super fractured before I started. The fracturing occurred because of the It was trying to force it into resonance. However, you can't force something with its own energy properties and set resonance into resonance, without breaking it. So that's kind of how that went, man. And thanks
Nice.
for the comment. I appreciate that comment.
Right on. So hold on, I want to show this real quick while Bernie's here. I'm just going to show his test intro. I know he's going to show it on his laptop, but I want to show it cleanly. This is what Bernie has set up over here at the Old Man Buildings facility, man. Hold on,
Very epic intro, man. I thank you for this.
Oh, there we go.
I
Totally
love
awesome.
it. I thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Yeah, that was pretty awesome, man. By the way, Bernie, I found the coolest thing online. Check this out. There's a 4 foot by 2 foot light. Okay. And what it acts like is a light box. So you know how you have your drawing and stuff and you get a light box and it just brings in light from the backside, but then has a diffuse front? This is exactly what this is. So on that wall, we can buy it, put it in there, and then we can put a glass shelf right in front of it. And then everything just lights up from the back, including the glass shelf itself. Totally awesome look. Again, it's 4 foot long, 2 feet, and they usually use them when they put in the ceilings, those little square ceilings, and then you see the light. It's all LED back, so it comes out as a perfect light, and you can change the color of it. So it'd be a warm light, a regular white light, you know what I mean, stuff like that. It'll change. It'll allow you to dim it. It's the coolest thing, man. And they give you 2 of them for $100 on Amazon. So it was just.
Amazing.
It's going to be epic, man. I've been looking for glass shelves and everything so we could put it
I
on there.
can't wait to get back there.
Those little bottles are going to look awesome.
Yeah, man, that's a great setup. You can see what you have going on there. So much better. So much better. I mean, I love it.
Oh yeah, Nathan is a pro. That's why I keep saying Nathan nominated for Netflix Director of Documentaries. If you're looking, this man you need to hire.
Yeah, not even close, but thank you.
Bernie asking Grok like, "Hey, take this video, make me look swag and professional."
Bernie did good, man. He was in front of the camera, man. Felt comfortable, and he did his thing. It was awesome. We had to do it several times too.
Right? It's not AI. It's not Grok. It's just Nathan bringing out the best of Bernie in front of the camera.
That's it, man. You got your Boogie Nights shirt on, the whole 9 yards.
Oh man, I love it.
Trying to take it up to that next level. Now all I need is to give me a lab coat. Then we're prime.
Oh, there you go. They all need lab coats at some point. So mine will look more like a muumuu or a dress. So I'll wait.
Fucking muumuu, bro. You'd get a little floral pattern on it. And
hey, if 3 of us all wear lab coats, all right, we're set for prime time. The algorithm for pump us. They'll be like, look at these guys. They're in white suits, all right? They're allowed to be pumped.
Oh, that's so great.
Ridiculous.
Oh. Oh, you gotta have fun, man, when you do this kind of stuff. I love it. So yeah. Oh, right on, guys. All right, man. It's been about 2.5 hours, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to say thanks to JJ out there, man. Like the stuff that we're putting out today, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat in there, man.
Right on, man. Very cool. Thank you.
God bless.
Right on. I'm going to end the show this time, Bernie, if you don't mind.
Yeah, don't have
For
the
sure.
show.
Much love.
Don't
I
do it.
look forward to seeing you on Traveling Fools, and I'll probably be on League of Extraordinary Adventures in an hour or two here. And love you guys. Love shout out Sean and all the epic work. And again, last plug. Buy Nathan's coils, and if you want to attend Tesla Tech, it is 40% off right now on teslatech.info, and you can get all the DVDs of past seasons and magazines and anything you need. Love you all, and we'll see you on the next one.
Right on.
Thank you.
This is Joe for OxyClean. Anyway, nice plug, Burn. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Heads up for people. Episode 3, I believe, is coming this week. Okay, so we'll announce that premiere. As soon as we can. We're trying to get these episodes to you guys as soon as possible. So we appreciate you guys tuning into that, spreading the word, sharing it with your friends. And hopefully it's something that we could keep on doing till to the very end, right? Till we have this thing in production and use, right?
Yeah, well, shout out Sean Calderon, man. He makes all this happen for us. We're just we're following what he does, man, and that's pretty epic in itself. So I'm pretty happy with it. And like Joe said, third one comes out. Joe and I get to play our hand in there a little bit, show our stuff, and then after that, man, comes the light episode, which is gonna be just epic, dude. I'm so pumped for that one too. It's gonna be the 4th episode in the series. And guys, we're going to be doing this for quite a while, so we're going to try and get them out every week if we can, and then put them out on Mondays, and we'll do that. We'll start premiering on Mondays. So, anyway, with that said, man, I want to thank everybody for watching. Chat, you've been awesome today, man. Shout out Crypto and Joe taking care of me over here, man. Being awesome on the show. And then I'll see you guys out on Traveling Fools later tonight. And then also Mike Faraday and Faraday Research Channel, they're doing their show. So I should pop in over there in just a little bit.
Okay, sounds about right. And I hope everybody has a good weekend. Peace and love.
Right on.
The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man Bill. The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality was stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to instead. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time. battling the establishment for just a little recognition has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds